Today on Simply Cooking, it's a day in the life. A day in my life with my hubby, my kitties, Miss Bella, in our beautiful kitchen. Simply Cooking by MmmChef. I have the day off. My hubby Wendell has the day off. So we're going to be showing you a day in the life. We don't have human kids. We have kitty cat kids, and they can be expensive. We like to feed them top quality nutrition and real food. And sometimes when buying raw and prepared cat foods from the pet store, it can really add up. So something I love to do for us is buy produce and meat for 50% off to help us save money. So we actually do the same thing for our cats. Every time I see salmon or shrimp or something like that on discount at the store, I buy it and throw it in the freezer so that on a day off like today, I have time to bake it up for them. So we got this 50% off little piece of salmon here, and Wendell's gonna flake that up in a minute to add a quail egg to each one. We have 4 kitty cats, but in here you see Luna, Mr. Mars, and Soleil, and Bella, who is 17 years old, is somewhere around here. On a day off, I like to take my time in the morning, and I like to make my own dairy-free milk creamer. This one's my favorite recipe. This one is a hazelnut creamer, and it tastes like, kind of like a Nutella, kind of. I'm just gonna try to not make a crazy mess here. So it is 2 tablespoons of roasted hazelnut butter that doesn't have any other ingredients in it, mixed with some salt, some vanilla, and some softened dates. Wendell made the coffee for us. We love espresso and cappuccino and all of those traditional drinks that you can get out of a beautiful machine like that. But more than that, we love this coffee press because we tend to drink a lot more than the average person. So this allows us to refill it with hot water as we go. So do you want some coffee with the hazelnut creamer? All right. So today you're going to be experiencing a day in the life. So we're gonna be starting with what we might have for breakfast on a day off, and then we're gonna make lunch together and dinner together. And that's our Mr. Mars meowing because it's summertime here and he wants to go outside, and we have a back door right here next to our kitchen.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, that wasn't very elegant, spilling all over. That's okay. Wendell's gonna go back here and start preparing our cat's breakfasts. Even our cat bowls are on brand with MmmChef. And you can even see that our cat food raw kibble actually has a 20% off sticker on it because we have 4. We go through a lot, so we do like to save a little bit wherever we can. So something that I always like to have is a yogurt parfait. We love to eat high protein. So I'm going to make us a yogurt parfait along with some scrambled eggs. I have these 2 extra jars here because whenever I'm doing something, I like to double duty. So I'm going to make us little yogurt parfaits that we're going to enjoy now with our eggs. But then I'm going to make 2 extra ones in the jar so that tomorrow and the next day, when I have a busy day, I can just grab them from the fridge. I have some high protein local yogurt here. Oh, he knows it's breakfast time. Definitely knows it's breakfast time. I love high protein yogurt, but I find that as a complete meal, it actually doesn't contain enough protein to get me going. I really like to make sure that I'm getting somewhere between 25 and 35 grams of protein per meal. So when I'm making a yogurt parfait like this, I like to add extra protein, whether it comes from a collagen powder or a complete protein powder. This one's my favorite. So I'm gonna add that in there. On a busy day when I don't have time to make a parfait, sometimes I'll actually just add the protein powder right into my coffee. Just because it's fun and pretty, I'm going to use this blue spirulina powder. It is also super high protein, but I'm actually not putting that much in there, so it probably is only adding like a gram or two. Get off the counter, buddy. Thank you. All right, look at that cool blue, beautiful color. Set this to the side. I like to put my fruit at the bottom, especially when I'm pre-making some parfaits, because this helps the fruit not turn brown because the air can't get to it. Whereas when you put the fruit on top, it tends to go bad faster because the fruit just sits there open to the air. Whereas when you cover it with the yogurt, it makes it airtight. So I have these little apricots here. Let me move these spoons so you guys can see what I'm doing. And I have some peaches. I love to add seeds. I do something called seed cycling, and it really helps me balance my hormones and stay the best that I can be. So along with the peaches and apricots, I'm going to also be using these beautiful local Canadian pumpkin seeds. The pumpkin seeds that you see at the grocery store that typically are super bright green, they're actually probably Chinese pumpkin seeds, and they're bred to look good and to be extra bright green. But our local Canadian natural pumpkin seeds have a little bit more of a dark green color. We've got kitty cats all around our legs. How you doing back there?
Almost done.
He's got his salmon and little quail eggs cracked for each kitty cat. And I've got my fruit in the bottom of the bowl. On the break, I'm going to scramble up these eggs, and Wendell and I are going to enjoy our yogurt parfaits, scrambled eggs, and our coffees with hazelnut creamer. And I'm almost done here. Are you ready there?
I am.
You are? Okay, so Wendell's gonna go feed the cats. I'm gonna finish up this breakfast, and we'll see you after the break.
Be sure to follow Daniela on Instagram at MmmChef for all the latest posts, including behind-the-scenes looks of the Simply Cooking set and some delicious culinary creations that will definitely make you hungry. And if you've missed an episode, don't worry because we have you covered. You can tune in or set your PVR to one of the rebroadcasts or log on to rogerstv.com/Ottawa or our YouTube page to check out all of our previous seasons and episodes.
Well, we already enjoyed our lovely egg and yogurt parfait breakfast, and the kitty cats enjoyed theirs. I know most people don't let their pets jump on the counter, but since this is a pet day in the life episode, it's okay. That was Soleil. So for lunch today, one of the salads I always love to make is a quinoa salad. Wendell and I live walking distance from a beach, so we love to make lunches that you can pack. So today I'm going to make a quinoa and chickpea salad with a steak that I just finished searing in my cast iron skillet. And then we're gonna pack up and we're gonna take our lunch with us down to the beach and enjoy the sunshine. I'm also gonna pre-prep a little bit of our dinner tonight, show you how I do that. And then in the third segment, Wendell will join me again and we're going to make dinner together. So I have some cooked quinoa here. Put this in the bottom of my bowl. Quinoa is a great grain. Well, a lot of people consider it a grain, but it's actually a seed. It has very high protein and it likes to soak up the flavor of stuff like a rice, but doesn't have as high of a carb content as rice does, which is why I really like it. I have half a can of chickpeas that's left over from another recipe I did earlier this week. I have a diced red onion. As you know, I always cry, so I made sure to do that before the cameras were turned on. I have a beautiful cucumber from my garden. And here's a trick. I don't want this salad to be too juicy, so I am actually going to remove the big seeds. English cucumbers that you get from the grocery store don't have like a lot of water or seeds in them, so you don't always have to do that. But because this is like a homegrown cucumber, it's a lot more watery. So I just like to remove the seeds when I'm eating a fatter non-English cucumber because it will help reduce the water content in the bottom of my salad bowl. Okay, these really skinny small cucumbers. So what I like to do when I'm doing a salad like this, I like to make sure that all of my ingredients are kind of chopped to the same size. I want to use a spoon when I'm eating this, and I want all of the different bursts of flavors to be a consistent size in my mouth. So I have the small quinoa, but the chickpeas are a little bit bigger. So I'm actually using the chickpeas as my guide to the size of everything. The onion's a little bit smaller to replicate the quinoa, and then I have my larger pieces of cucumber. Now I'm going to quarter my cherry tomatoes, and we'll put those in. Sometimes when I have longer cherry tomatoes like this, I like to slice them into pretty little rounds like that. Then I have some beautiful fresh oregano. Now this is a salad I make all the time, but I change it up all the time. Sometimes I have leftover cooked rice and I'll use rice as the base. Sometimes I don't use any grain at all and I just use like the chickpeas. And sometimes I leave out the chickpeas and instead of using steak, I might use a chopped up piece of chicken breast or some leftover pulled chicken from a rotisserie chicken earlier in the week. I definitely try to eat high protein. I find with a busy life and with, always being on the go with clients and stuff like that, that when I make sure that I'm getting enough protein in my meals, that I actually feel a lot better and I am less tired at the end of the week. So protein is something that is really important to me. I usually have a garbage can underneath me, but I don't right now. So I'm just gonna put that in there for now. Pull this towards me. I have some fresh oregano from my garden with the pretty little purple oregano flowers on the ends here. Aren't they so pretty and delicious? Oh, I wish you guys, as Rachel Ray says, I wish I had smell-o-vision because the aroma of this oregano is just intoxicating. I'm going to add a drizzle of balsamic reduction. It's probably enough. A nice generous pinch of Himalayan salt. A crack of some freshly ground peppercorns. And a very good drizzle of olive oil. Give this a good mix. Love it. Whoops, put that there. I'm gonna slice up this steak. Drippy drip, that's okay. I'm gonna slice it right here on the plate. I like to cook it to rare, medium rare. This is a very high quality grass-fed strip steak, so it will fall apart even if it's undercooked a little bit. Look at that beautiful color. Delicious. So for dinner tonight, we're making our shake and bake chicken. We make this recipe a lot with different ingredients. When we first started dating 21 years ago, we were using actual shake and bake purchased mixes. And then we graduated to doing our own like breadcrumb mixture with cheeses and stuff like that. And now we've graduated just grabbing a container under here. Cheers, everybody. It's real life. We've graduated to using almond meal or a nut meal. So let me just get my salad into this container. And we'll see if we can fit the steak on top. Perfect. So I'm going to show you my shake and bake mix. but I'm not going to actually put the chicken inside because we'll do that later on right before we start baking the dinner. So I have a large Ziploc bag here. And in the Ziploc bag, I'm adding about a cup of almond meal. These are just ground up almonds. Then I have some garlic powder. And if you know me, some everything but the bagel seasoning. Then later on tonight, when we're ready to bake dinner, I'll throw my chicken drumsticks in this bag and it'll coat them nicely and we'll bake them up and they'll get nice and crispy. I'll see you at dinner time.
Food and discussion go hand in hand. Join the conversation on Instagram at MmmChef. Send us your questions. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you like to make. Maybe even send a picture of your own culinary creations. Good food, bringing people together for centuries.
Wendell and I enjoyed our picnic lunch, and now we're working on dinner. He's going to go and shuck this corn. We're gonna roast the corn and all the vegetables together in one pan so that I can show you guys that you don't need to like have separate containers or pans or pots for boiling. And I have my chicken drumsticks here. There's a lot of chicken drumsticks in here, but in true MmmChef style, whenever I have a day off and I'm meal prepping, I really love to make extra. So if I'm making chicken or any type of meat, I like to make extra so that I have cooked protein ready to go the rest of the week. You know, I mentioned that I love to eat high protein, so having it on hand and ready really helps set us up for success and have like no failure, you know? Instead of coming home from work and being starving and pounding back a box of crackers, I have cooked meat ready so I can snack on that while I'm getting ready for dinner or whatever. So this is that almond meal mix that has everything but the bagel seasoning and garlic powder in there. I'm going to add some salt because I didn't add it to the actual mix. And I'm going to add some pepper because I didn't add it to the actual mix. Great, just gonna break those up for us. And we're gonna give this a shake. Like a true shake and bake. All right. Let's switch, okay? So Wendell's gonna get these chicken drumsticks onto our baking tray. We've got our oven preheating to 450. We're gonna bake everything at the same time and at the same temperature to make it less mess and easier for us. It's all nice and coated. You can see that most of the coating has been distributing amongst the chicken. So you go ahead and you do that. So these are really unconventional vegetables that you don't see roasted very often, but they happen to be my favorite combination. And so I've got these garlic scapes. That's beeping because of that. So you can't put this cold thing on the induction or it'll beep at us. Okay, so we have these things, they're called garlic scapes. When garlic is growing, it ends up with these long little flowers and we pick them. And then I love to eat these like an asparagus. You can roast them just like a green bean or an asparagus. You can also turn them into like a pesto, but today I'm going to be roasting them. As you see, I'm cutting off both ends. Also, like this little end here, as you can see, has kind of dried up. And then the other end is a little bit tough, kind of like an asparagus. So we'll get those going. And then I have some radishes. So radishes are something that you probably never had roasted. And some people really don't like radishes. Like if they're raw, you don't really like them. They're kind of a bit too spicy for you. And a lot of people find them too strong of a flavor. So I discovered roasting radishes years ago when I was working at a cooking school and the head chef did roasted radishes and I was just blown away. So it's something that I do often. I also like to do a quick pickle with radishes because I find that will also help mute the flavor. And then when I'm cooking for someone who's lower carb or someone who maybe is following like a keto diet, radishes are a great substitute for potatoes. So you can roast the radishes in the same way that you would roast like a mini potato. and they come out so soft and so mild in flavor. The spiciness and the like bite that comes with a traditional raw radish really disappears in the oven as it continues to cook. We did this with chicken drumsticks today, but we also do this all the time with little pieces of pork loin. You can do it with chicken breast or chicken tenders. You can do it with veal. You can do it with like pork chops or lamb chops. As long as they're nice and thin, you can definitely coat them in the same coating. And I actually, for clients, have done this same coating on tofu and on eggplant. Kind of like an eggplant parm. So instead of putting everything but the bagel seasoning in there, we would put like Parmesan cheese to give it that Parmesan, you know, chicken parm flavor. All right. I guess Wendell disappeared. Okay. So I'm going to coat this with a little bit of olive oil. I'm going to coat my corn in olive oil too, because I'm wanting to roast it all together at the same time. So a nice generous pinch of salt and a generous crack of black pepper. All right, give this a lovely toss. Make sure my corn is completely covered in the seasoning and the oil. All right. And on a day off, whenever we have extra time and we want to indulge ourselves, we often will make chocolate fondue. That's probably our favorite dessert. I'm not showing that to you today, but we just melt some chocolate chips with a little bit of milk or cream or dairy-free coconut cream and cut up a banana and throw in some berries. And that's one of our favorite ways to enjoy a sweet treat after dinner. Okay, my oven is set at 450. I'm going to get my chicken drumsticks in the oven, and I'm going to get my veggies in the oven. Because they're chicken drumsticks, they will bake in probably about 25 to 30 minutes. So I'll also have another timer set for myself for the 16 to 20 minute mark, because I bet you my radishes and my scapes will be ready in about 15 to 20 minutes, and the chicken will take about 30 minutes. Wendell, come say goodbye to everybody. We are going to let the rest of our food finish cooking. We're going to enjoy our dinner with our cats, and I hope that something that we did today inspired you to meal prep for yourself, or to spend a day off with your loved one, making meals and doing the things that you love to do. And what I love to do is cook. So even on a day off, you'll usually find me here in the kitchen. See you next time.